Hello, my name's Jackie, welcome back to my channel, and this is the beginning of week 3 of Nanowrimo. Now, if you've watched my last 2 weekly Nanowrimo vlogs, you'll know that I don't seem to be capable of writing on a Friday, so the week technically started yesterday, but I'm starting today. Now, although I was on track on Thursday, so I was about 60 words over the recommended Nanowrimo writing pace, because I didn't write yesterday, now I'm about 3,300 words behind. The good news though is that yesterday I actually went to a cafe at lunchtime and I mapped out the next couple of scenes I know I wanted to write. So I think I'll be able to hit that 3,000 or so words pretty easily today. Not sure what that means for tomorrow or the rest of the week, but I do have a bit of a head start today, so I'm going to start writing and see how far I can get in the next hour or so. So it's been about an hour, or at least I think it's been about an hour, because for some reason the For the Words timer is not working today, and even though I created a new document, basically every time I paused or went to another tab because I wanted to look something up, it reset the timer, so it says 7 minutes and 27 seconds, which definitely isn't true. So I'm assuming it's about an hour, and I've written 2,004 words, which is good because this is the plan that I had written yesterday at lunchtime. So it's that page and that page. And in that 2,000 words, all I've actually written is this section up here. I don't think like every third of a page is going to be 2,000 words in this, because there is a bit of dialogue. Like when I got inspired, I was sort of writing like a screenplay. But I think it's encouraging. I think this could be all of the writing I need to do this weekend. Having said all of that, I have really struggled this session just because I really want to make myself a hot chocolate, but we're out of milk. So I'm going to take a quick shopping break to go. We've got a supermarket right across the road. So I'm going to go to the supermarket, pick up some almond milk, come back, make my hot chocolate, and then write the last 1,000 or so words for the day. Oh my god, that's exactly what I needed. Okay, so got my almond milk, made my hot chocolate, and I also came across this cannabis dark chocolate when I was at the supermarket. Now, Estonia is not a country where weed is legal. Tallinn is not like Amsterdam. We're not like California here, so you don't really see like these sorts of products anywhere. So it caught my eye, so I'm going to also give this a quick try. It smells very dark. It's okay. That was a bit disappointing. No, it's fine. It tastes like it's got something added to it, but still chocolate, still does the job. So I have my hot chocolate, I have my cannabis chocolate, and now it's time to get back to writing. I actually think I might skip the next bit that I know needs to come here because I'm not sure how to tackle it. Now, this book is set in a world where superpowers are a thing. The main character doesn't have them, but she has the gene mutation that says she should have them. So basically X-Men, it's all gene mutations. The genes lie dormant until they're triggered, which is usually by adrenaline, and most people who have the gene have triggered their powers by the time they get to about their mid-teens. So the main character is 16, she hasn't triggered hers yet. Even though her DNA says she should have powers, she thinks that maybe she just doesn't. She's some sort of blip. We're now in a scene where what I think should happen is that, so she's been captured by the mob who are basically manufacturing a drug to help manufacture superpowers, and she's been caught by them, and I think what should logically happen is that they torture her to see whether she's just been hiding her powers and they can push her far enough that she'll need to unleash them, or if they are dormant, then maybe they can trigger them by spiking her adrenaline. The problem is I don't know how to tackle the idea of torture because I don't want to include gratuitous violence. I don't want to have another woman in a piece of literature or film who's being abused and beaten up just for the sake of being abused and beaten up. Like, there should be a purpose behind it. The other thing is that one of her brothers, his power is actually to project his pain onto others. So there's a bit earlier in the book where she's basically trying to escape from not trying to escape, she's been kicked out of the family and they're basically trying to force her out, but the father said, look, if you catch her, you can do whatever you want to her, because they're insane. But there's a scene where the brother cuts open his own hand and starts pulling it out, and she's feeling all of it and he isn't. And I loved it when I wrote it. It's just so creepy, and he's such a sociopath. And I feel like anything I do here, it's just going to be, more cutting, more hurting, but it's not going to have the same impact. So I'm, really not sure how to tackle this scene, and I don't know what I could replace it with if we weren't going to have this. I do think there needs to be something. Do I need this scene? I don't know, creative problems. I mean, I know I want her to be in this particular location for what happens afterwards, but does it need to be a torture scene? God, it's one of those moments where you realize you've got a flaw, and do I need to unravel the last 5,000 words I wrote? And this is probably not going to get solved with me looking off into the distance while I'm on camera. So I'm going to get back to my words for today, have a little play around other ways this might be able to work, and I will touch base when I'm done. So it's been another hour and I'm up to 3,694 words for the day, and I'm going to call it a day. When it comes to the torture problem, what I did was I wrote torture in capital letters with the goal of filling in that space later. However, in hindsight, I actually think I could probably just cut the scene. So we have the end of the previous scene with she's about to get tortured, and then we come back and she's tied on the operating table and sweaty and reeling from whatever's being done. And the reason I think that's a better approach is simply because when I think about what creates suspense in books and films, it's usually not, it's not when the person gets their tongue cut out or they get punched in the face or whatever actually goes wrong. It's the build up to that point. And I feel like post whatever the torture was in that section, I have a really nice build up piece. So in the previous section, before he starts the torture, he mentions that whatever he does, he wants to make sure she can recover from it, she can be repaired in a sense, so that then they can do it again if they need to. Whereas in the following scene, he actually says, well, maybe we need to look at something that'll do permanent damage since the temporary stuff isn't working. Don't ask what's going on in my subconscious. I don't think it's good at this point. So, all in all, I'm happy with what I've written. I think I won't have to do the torture bit at all, which is really good. And I'm back on track for Nanowrimo. So I will just pop onto the website. And if I add my, 3,694. So 3,694 words. And that means my total word count is up to 27,084 words. And where I needed to get today was 26,672. So I'm back on track, slightly over where I need to be, which is exactly where I wanted to get today. So signing off for today, and I will see you again tomorrow. So it's Sunday and I've written 1,830 words, which actually took me to the end of the planning that I did a couple of days ago. And what always strikes me as funny is I had 2 pages of planning, outlining done. 1 page ended up being 3,600 words and another page ended up being 1,800 words. So I don't think that's a problem because I think scenes need to be as long as they need to be to communicate what you want to communicate. However, I always find it interesting when people ask, oh, well, how long is this book going to be? And especially when they're working towards, or they think you should be working towards a deadline and they're like, okay, well, you want to get this book done by X date. How many words do you think it should be? And therefore, how many words do you need to do a day in order to hit that goal? And I'm like, I have no idea how long this book should be. Based on how far through my intended plot I am, at about 30,000 words now, at 28,914 words to be exact, I know that it'll probably be more than 50,000 words because I'm not at what I consider to be the midpoint of my plot. However, of the scenes that are still to come, there might be more 3,500 word scenes or scene sequences, or there might be more 1,800 word scenes or scene sequences. So who knows how much I've actually got left to go. So I'm curious, do you work in the same way and it takes as long as it takes, or do you know that you're going to hit 50,000 or 75,000 or 100,000 words and you write towards that as a goal? So let me know in the comments. I'm really curious about how you work. So because I've gotten to the end of that planning, what I want to do this afternoon is map out the next few scenes so that when I'm writing during the week and I have less time for thinking and research, I'll already know where I'm going, and hopefully that means I can stay on track with my words throughout the week. I've now mapped out the next 2 scenes I have in my book, and I think that's probably going to take me through the next few days. I think there are a good few thousand words in here. I also have some ideas about the following scenes, so 3 scenes away, but I need to spend a little bit more time thinking about it before I start outlining it. So all in all, successful weekend, back on track, and hopefully we'll be on track for the rest of week 3. Happy Tuesday! It is the 19th of November, and as of last night I had 30,942 words. And once again to Nanowrimo, I'm very disappointed that I need to wait until 40,000 words for my next badge. It would really be nice if they kept coming in 10,000 word increments. So yesterday I did about 2,000 words. I didn't love writing yesterday. I did a bit at lunchtime, but just couldn't quite get in the zone, and then I did some when I got home, but again really just struggled to get into it, which is interesting because last week I was so in my story that I was really, not really unproductive at work, but really disengaged at work, less productive than usual, because I kept thinking about the story and I kept wanting to go back to it. Whereas this week I found that yesterday and today I've been really productive at work, but yesterday my writing was just meh. It was a bit of a struggle to get into it. Having said that, it's almost 6 o'clock. I've probably got an hour or so until my husband gets home, so hoping that I can get all of my words done in that time. And the other thing is that Holly Black's Queen of Nothing came out today. In fact, this is really annoying. So I have an Australian Kindle, which means I get, if I pre-order something, I get it on the Australian release, which because Australian time zones are before US and European time zones tends to be first, and I didn't realize until I went to bed last night that it was already on my Kindle yesterday. I'm really annoyed that I didn't get to start reading it then, but now I'm hoping it will act as motivation so I get through these words really efficiently, because I read a little bit of it before work today and I just really want to get back into this book. So the goal for today is I want to finish the scene I was working on yesterday. So she's on her way to her first mob mission where they're going to kill a bunch of people. She's going to bond with the mafia people she's hanging out with, and that is going to make what she does next, which is, it's not quite a betrayal, but it shows intention to betray them. That's going to be more, devastating's too strong a word, but it's going to have more impact because she has actually bonded with them at this stage. So, time to start writing. It's now been 1 hour and I have 1,753 words done. I didn't actually get to the end of the scene that I wanted, but I think I'm done for the day. I feel like I say this every day, like when I'm filming immediately after writing, but I don't love what I wrote. I had this scene in my head that's very cinematic, it's very actiony, but when I write it, it seems to lose all life. It's a shooting scene, which I haven't done before. If I do fight scenes, they tend to be more hand-to-hand combat, or maybe swords if I'm trying to do fantasy. So this was new, and I'm not sure how to bring the sort of life you see in a film where someone's assassinating someone else, or you get the action hero who's walking through a complex going bang, bang, bang. I don't know how to bring that into a book, so that's something to think about. The good news is, though, that I have more than met my writing target for the day. So if I go to Nanowrimo and add it to the tally, that brings me to 32,695 words, which is slightly ahead of where I should be, about 1,000 words ahead of where I should be. So yeah, going well, on track. Hopefully I'll be far enough ahead on Thursday that when I take my inevitable Friday off, on Saturday I'll still be on track, but we'll see what happens. Now though, I'm going to have a bath and read my book. It is Wednesday. I don't know how it is only Wednesday, but I'm so tired. I really feel like this should be a Friday night and this should be my day off, since I've decided I'm always getting Fridays off now. I'm so tired. I don't know how I'm going to write today. It's about 7:15. I got home from work. I had a bath because I thought maybe that would revive me. I watched some YouTube videos. I finished Queen of Nothing, and I'm just so worn out. Now, this is the problem with, so yesterday I mentioned that this week I'd actually been more productive at work, like I'd gotten over my I just want to live in my story full time. The problem is that means I'm actively writing all day. So today I did, I think, a 5,000 word article. I had to review and edit 60 emails. I had a couple of small copywriting things that popped up. I had so we've got a couple of interns at the moment, and one of them had a lot of questions today. So there was a lot on, and I've already done a lot of writing today, and I don't feel like I have any more left to write. But the problem is that tomorrow Daniel Sloss is in town, so Drew, my husband Drew, and I, we're going to see him. And then Friday is Friday, and I don't have high hopes for getting anything done that day. And I can't miss 3 days in a row of Nanowrimo. I mean, to be fair, I probably will write something tomorrow. The comedy's not until 8 p.m. But even if I write something tomorrow and I skip today and I have no hope for Friday, that's 2 days in a week. And I'm on track at the moment. I don't want to not be on track anymore. And of course, Kate Kavanagh yesterday hit her 50,000 words. Damn these people who get to write full time. Anyway, so yeah, I don't even know if I'll use this clip, but I'm really not motivated to write today. I will try though. I think I'll try and finish the scene that I was working on yesterday, and maybe do another small scene which will get me to the end of what I planned out on the weekend. And hopefully that's enough for my words today, and who knows what will happen tomorrow, but I'll check in then. So hello, I am trying to vlog in public, but I thought that walking with the GoPro might be a bit too awkward, especially since I no longer have a gimbal because it broke. And I want the record to show that I did not break it. I was holding it up and it literally fell apart on its own. So when my husband's watching this later, he will know that it's on the record that it was not my fault that his gimbal broke. But so it means I'm literally just holding my arm out to hold the GoPro. So it's even more awkward than when you've got like a selfie stick or something. So sitting in front of my work building before I head off. Last night I wrote 1,399 words, so it was less than what I should have done for the day, but it is enough that I'm still on track. Yeah, it was just a very writing heavy day, which meant that when I got home I didn't want to keep writing, but I did. And I didn't mind it actually. I think what I ended up with was decent. So I still have a little bit left with the planning that I did on the weekend, so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to the comedy to see Daniel Sloss tonight with my husband, which is at 8 o'clock. It's now about 5:30, so gonna head for a cafe and write for the next hour or so until he comes out for dinner, so hopefully I can get my words done in that time. So my husband and I are at the Russian Cultural Center waiting for Daniel's Sloss to start, and this is like the one building where Soviet rule never left Estonia. So when we get into the main theater, I'm going to put the camera around a little bit so you can see exactly what I mean. In terms of Nanowrimo, I did 2,050 words today. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure what that brings my total to, but I'm about 1,000 words ahead of where I need to be, which is perfect because it means if I do take Friday off, which is inevitable, I think, given my behaviour over the past few weeks, it means I'll only have about 600 words to catch up on Saturday. So it's Friday morning, I'm just about to leave for work, and I realised that with all the excitement of yesterday, I never did a recap for week 3. So first thing, Daniel Sloss was awesome. If you're in Europe, I'd highly recommend seeing if he still has tour dates in your area because, yeah, it was an amazing show. I finished yesterday with 3,144 words, which meant that yesterday I was about 1,000 words ahead. And today I'm definitely taking the day off because it's been a week and I am exhausted. The good news though is that this coming week we're on holidays, so yeah, I'm curious to see how much I get done, and yeah, really curious to see how long this book is going to be in total, because I know that based on what I've done already, I know that 50,000 words is not going to be enough. In general, this week went pretty smoothly. Didn't love everything I wrote, but the planning that I did last weekend actually carried me through the entire week. So yesterday, when I got to the end of my 2,000 words, I just gotten to the end of the planning I did on the weekend. So I definitely want to do that going forward. Maybe not this coming week, just because it's holiday time and that means there's more time to do like planning as you go. But definitely when I'm back at work the week after, I think weekends will be planning time, and then when I've got my hour or hour and a half a day that I write in, I can really get those words out and move through the plot. When it comes to the book itself, I think obviously it needs work. It's very, very, very first draft, but I think there's something there. I think there are some strengths to it. I think the Preptober work I did definitely helped. I also think that once I hit the midpoint, I'm going to run into trouble because there's a whole lot of stuff that should have been revealed by this stage. Until the midpoint, so my main character is really trying to get back home to her family. And at the midpoint, I want that to flip and for her to realize her father's not a great guy and maybe she should be working against him. But in order for that to happen, there needs to be information shared in the first half of the book that I don't know if I'm going to get in this first draft stage. So be interesting to see how I go. But in any case, on track, feeling optimistic, and I will see you in week 4. Bye.